Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a piece of orange paper. And yes, I'm using other than white in my Imagine, and you can do this. So what I'm going to do to start is use this stamp from Tim Holtz from the mini Halloween set. I believe this was out last year. And I'm going to just ink it up with Versamark and stamp randomly on my paper. And when you do this, you're going to want to stamp and then rotate your stamp so it doesn't look like you have one specific pattern going on. You want this to be a little random. And then I'm going to put clear embossing powder over it and heat set it. And once we get done with that part, I will show you what we're going to do with the Imagine. And it's a really cool process, so we'll be right back. Okay, here is the final image after it's been printed. You can see that the spider webs are showing, and there are other spots where I got embossing powder that I didn't really want it there, but you know, it's not going to hurt anything by being there. It just gives it a little more character. So all I would do after it's printed is take either a damp cloth, and this is just a baby white and it's not real damp, and just kind of go over your embossed areas just to get the rest of the black off. Now I have to warn you, this is going to cook up your machine a little bit, the rollers, because it's going to not stick to this embossed area, and as it goes through it's going to leave a little residue on your rollers. So okay, so after we're done, I'm going to flip this over because there are tick marks here where the score lines are supposed to be, and I am going to line these up the best I can. And I'm using my Martha Stewart board, and just, you may notice there's some black lines on here, and why I put them there is these lines are so close together that sometimes it's hard when you're lining these up to make sure if you're in this groove here, you're in this groove down here, and you're not over one. So I just put them there for my purpose. And I'm going to go ahead and score these lines on here as I figure out where they are. Oh, there's the other one. They're a little difficult to see. And then once we have this scored, we'll go ahead and assemble our box. I have all my scores done, and we're going to go ahead and assemble our box. Now I'm just going to use my ATG gun for this, but if you're making these, you probably want to use a little more strong adhesive on this because of the detail of the embossing. So I'm just going to put a couple strips on here and line this up. So clumsy today. This is about the fourth time I've tried to do this. I had all kinds of trouble getting this to cut. My machine kept wanting to shut off on me. Okay, I think we got it there. Okay, so we have our box partially assembled here, and I'm going to go ahead and just push these in. You know what I should use on here is some glue dots, but where is, let me find my glue. Oh, there it is. I'm just going to put a little dab of this quick dry glue on these flaps just to hold this in place while I assemble. Push them down. Let's give them a second here to set up. Okay. And I'm just going to run some right along this edge here. And pop that shut. Excuse my head. And And that is the base of our box right there. And I think that's pretty cool. So I used just a sheet of orange paper, printed black over my embossing, and there you go. I created a strip of orange. This is a little different shade of orange than what's showing through here. And I used my Martha Stewart Graveyard Punch and just punched around the top of that to give me that border. And I used another stamp from the Tim Holtz Mini Halloween, the Happy Halloween stamp, and just stamped that in black along the bottom. And to get this nice and even, I used, it's not a Stamp-A-Majig, it's from Inka-Dinka-Doo. It's just one of those little T-squares with the plastic thing so you can get everything straight. And I'm just going to adhere this onto my box here, and I'm going to put a piece of black satin ribbon and tie a little cheater method bow on it, or not. And then for my bat that I'm going to put on here, I didn't have any glossy paper or any kind of like shiny paper, so I don't know if you can see this, but I printed it on there's the glare there. I printed this on HP photo printer paper, and the ink is formulated to work very well with this kind of paper, and it doesn't run, it doesn't smear, and it comes out really nice. So I suggest using that. That's a really good paper to use. And for the moon, I'm going to put him up here on a moon. I just cut a piece of yellow cardstock in a circle, and I used Distress Ink Spice Marmalade to go around the edge and just give it a little bit of an orangey glow. So that's all I'm doing with this project, and I will put it all together and I'll come back and show you the finished project. Okay, here's my finished box. I wrapped my border around the bottom and put my black ribbon and just tied a little cheater bow there on here, and added my moon, and I popped up my bat on some Stampin' Up! Dimensionals and just give them a little pop off the page or off the box. And there is my project for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next week. Thanks. Bye-bye.